My name is Vanessa. I am 31 years old. I work as a middle school science teacher. Last week I went to my nephew's graduation party. And my sister stood up in front of everyone and said, well, at least some of us made something of ourselves instead of being stuck babysitting teenagers for minimum wage. Then her son's principal, who was sitting in the corner, put down his drink and stared at me. Before I tell you what he said, could you do me a quick favor? If you like these stories, please like and subscribe and drop a comment below saying what country you're watching from. It really helps more than you know. Okay, let's start from the beginning. My sister Linda is 3 years older than me. She's always been the pretty one. The one who knew how to talk to people at parties. The one who married rich. Her husband owns some kind of consulting firm. I don't really understand what he does, honestly. But they have a big house. 5 bedrooms. Pool in the back. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment near the school where I teach. My car is 12 years old. The passenger door makes a weird noise when you open it. Growing up, Linda was the one who got the new clothes. I got her hand-me-downs mostly. Mom used to say it was because Linda had more social events. She needed to look nice. I was fine with my books and my frog collection. Yeah. I kept tadpoles in jars on my windowsill. Linda thought it was gross. I went to state college. Got my teaching degree. Linda went to some private university on the East Coast. I can never remember which one. She mentions it a lot though. She married Derek when she was 26. Big wedding. I was a bridesmaid. The dress was salmon-colored and made me look like a couch. I have one photo from that day and I look so uncomfortable. They had my nephew Tyler 2 years later. He's 16 now. Just graduated from some fancy private high school. The party was at their house. Of course. Linda had hired caterers. There were these little sandwich things. I don't know what they're called. The kind with no crusts. And stuffed mushrooms. I tried one. It was cold in the middle. I wore the only nice dress I own. It's navy blue. Kind of plain. My shoes were hurting before I even got there. I should have broken them in first. But I never remember to do things like that. There were maybe 40 people there. Tyler's friends. Derek's work people. Some neighbors. Family. My parents were there. Linda's in-laws. Some of Tyler's teachers. I didn't know most people. I stood near the food table for a while. Ate a few of those little sandwich things. Drank some punch that was too sweet. My mom came over and kissed my cheek. Asked how school was. I said fine. She said that's nice dear and then went to talk to Linda's mother-in-law. That's kind of how it always is. I don't mind really. Or I tell myself I don't mind. Tyler came over at one point. He's a good kid. Tall now. Dayerdanme. He said thanks for coming Aunt Vanessa. I gave him a card with $50 in it. He looked a little disappointed but said thank you. I'm sure other people gave him more. I'd been saving that 50 for 2 months. The principal from Tyler's school was there. Mr. Hinshaw. I didn't know who he was at first. He was just some older guy in the corner. But glasses. He wasn't talking to anyone. Just standing there with a glass of wine. Looking a bit uncomfortable if I'm honest. Around 7 p.m. Linda asked everyone to come into the living room. She wanted to make a speech. Everyone gathered around. I was near the back. Standing next to a bookshelf. They had those books that no one reads. The kind that are just for decoration. All the spines matched. Linda stood in the middle of the room. She had this glow about her. She was wearing white pants. I would never wear white pants. I'd spill something on them in 5 minutes. She started talking about Tyler. About how proud she was. How he'd gotten into Yale. Early decision. Full ride. Oh no wait. Not full ride. They're paying. But she made it sound very impressive. Everyone clapped. Then she started talking about hard work. About ambition. About setting goals. I could feel it coming. I don't know how. I just knew. She said Tyler got his drive from her side of the family. She looked at Derek. Said no offense honey. Everyone laughed. Then she looked right at me. I mean we can't all be ambitious, right Vanessa? The room got a bit quieter. I just smiled. Didn't say anything. Some people are happy with simple lives. And that's okay. My mom was looking at the floor. I mean teaching is nice. It's stable. Lots of holidays. A few people laughed. Not mean laughs. Just uncomfortable ones. But at least some of us made something of ourselves instead of being stuck babysitting teenagers for minimum wage. My face got hot. But I kept smiling. I don't know why. It's just what I do. A couple people shifted around. Someone coughed. Derek said, "Linda, come on." But she was already moving on, talking about the dessert table, telling everyone to help themselves to cake. People started moving, talking again. The moment passed. I stayed where I was. My hands were shaking a bit, so I put them in my pockets. That's when I noticed Mr. Henshaw was staring at me. He had this look on his face, like he was trying to figure something out. He didn't move, just kept looking. I looked away, pretended to read the spines of those fake books. When I looked back, he was still staring. He took a sip of his wine, put the glass down, picked it up again. He looked confused. Everyone else had moved to the dining room for cake. I could hear Linda laughing about something. Mr. Henshaw walked over to me. "Excuse me," he said. "You're Linda's sister?" "Yeah," I said. "You're a teacher?" "Yeah. Middle school. Science." He nodded slowly. Then he said, "What school?" Jefferson Middle. Across town." His eyes got wide. "You're Vanessa Hoffman?" I felt weird. "Yes." He just stared at me. Didn't say anything for a long moment. Do you know who I am?" he asked. "Tyler's principal?" "Yes, but..." He shook his head. "I used to work in the district office. I was on the superintendent's team for 5 years before I took this job." I didn't know what to say to that. "You wrote the curriculum," he said. "What?" "The middle school science curriculum. The one the entire state adopted 3 years ago. You wrote it." My stomach dropped. "You consulted on the federal STEM education framework. You have 2 master's degrees. You were a finalist for National Teacher of the Year." I felt like I couldn't breathe. "I sat in on one of your workshops," he said. "You taught 300 educators how to make science accessible to kids with learning disabilities." I took notes. I still have them. People were starting to come back into the living room. Mr. Henshaw turned around. "Excuse me," he said loudly. "Can I have everyone's attention?" The room went quiet. Linda came in holding a plate of cake. She looked annoyed that someone else was talking. "I just want to say something," Mr. Henshaw said. He looked at Linda. "You said your sister babysits teenagers for minimum wage." Oh God. I wanted to disappear. "You're talking about Vanessa Hoffman." He said my name like it meant something. Vanessa Hoffman is one of the most respected educators in the country. She's written curriculum used by 12 states. She's trained thousands of teachers. She was invited to speak at Harvard last year. No one was moving. She turned down a 6-figure job at the Department of Education because she didn't want to leave her students. I had forgotten he would know that. It was in an article. A small one. She's won 4 teaching awards. The governor knows her by name. Linda's face had gone completely white. She makes more impact in 1 school year than most people make in their entire lives. He looked at me. "It's an honor to be in the same room as you, Ms. Hoffman." No one said anything. Tyler was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. My mom had her hand over her mouth. Linda just stood there, holding her cake. She opened her mouth but nothing came out. Mr. Henshaw nodded at me and went back to his corner. I couldn't stay. I just couldn't. I picked up my bag from the chair by the door. My hands were still shaking. No one tried to stop me. I walked out, got in my car. The passenger door made that noise. I sat there for maybe 10 minutes. Just sat there. Then I cried. Not big sobs or anything. Just tears running down my face. Not because of Linda. Not really. Because I realized I'd been ashamed. Of my life. Of my 1-bedroom apartment and my old car and my $50 graduation gifts. And I wasn't anymore. No one called me that night. No one texted. The next day Tyler sent me a message. Just said, "Thank you for the card." Nothing else. Mom called 3 days later. Talked about the weather. Didn't mention the party. Linda and I haven't spoken. I still teach at Jefferson Middle. I still drive the same car. But I don't feel small anymore when I walk into family events. Some truths don't need you to fight for them. They just need one person who knows to speak them out loud.
This was an interesting story for you guys. I am sure that you people will love it. And if you are also interested in watching more stories like this, so subscribe our channel.